Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Offside Opinions Episode 6. I'm Asher Niotia,
And I'm Levi Nall.
and we'll jump right in with a recap of last week's games.
So, starting off with the Thursday game, NFC West Divisional, Rams-Niners. This was a really ugly game. I expected a lot better from the Rams, especially coming off of that hot game against the Bills last week. So 12-6 is not the kind of score you want to see, especially when it was all field goals. For the Niners, I think, they looked a lot better on defense this week than they have been for most of the year. Having some stars back from injuries definitely helped with that. But, I think the fact that Devondre Campbell went out mid-game kind of sums up this year for them. That, nobody on their team's happy. Deebo Samuel's washed. George Kittle might even be washed. Their entire roster has been shaken up by injuries. Just a bad year.
Okay, I agree with everything you said except for George Kittle being washed. He is not washed. He is having a career year with everybody being out.
He had a really bad drop. That was kind of what I was referring to.
Okay, yeah, one drop does not sum up good or bad.
Yeah.
You look at Deebo, all right? And Deebo had a really, really bad game. He had several drops.
Yeah.
And earlier, I'm sorry if you didn't hear this, but my mic, I don't know how, it got muted on me. Sorry. So it probably sounded really weird. But, yeah, what I was saying was that George Kittle, he's not washed. It's just he's had a career year with everybody being out, but now, some of the drops are starting to show.
Yeah, I guess.
For the Rams, they're now atop the NFC West because the Seahawks lost. Let's go.
I mean, is that really that much of an accomplishment?
It is. You don't understand. People were giving the division to the Cardinals, to the Seahawks.
Yeah.
At one point, our chance to make the playoffs was 20%. Now it's 50%. That's 30%. Dude, I'm kidding. How many more wins do we have? Because we have the Jets, the Cardinals, the Seahawks left. I think we beat the Jets.
Probably
can beat the Cardinals.
Probably.
Seahawks is where it comes down
Depends on.
But the funny thing about that is that they have the Vikings left. So if they lose to the Vikings and we win out and win the rest of our games, we have a playoff spot locked.
Yeah.
Panthers lost to Dallas.
Yeah, the Panthers, I mean, it's the same story second verse this week. Bryce Young still looks pretty good, but it's clear that they need some more offensive weapons besides Adam Thielen. So I think that, if they just had some more, and maybe defense kind of struggled, so, you fix up those problems and you got a good quarterback in Bryce Young.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Young didn't have the best game. He had a fumble, 2 interceptions. He was under constant pressure too, so the O-line definitely needs some fixing. But I think that now the Panthers really just need to fix the offensive holes, like he was saying. If they fix those, they'll be probably, their defense is mid, but they'll probably still be at least wild card round.
Yeah.
If under Canales. If Canales gets fired, then I wouldn't pick them to even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But now they're officially knocked out of playoff contention on paper. There isn't even the slightest 1% chance that they might make it. But yeah, it was just a bad game. The Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? They're still hanging around the .500 range. They're not a playoff team. I think that's for sure.
Yeah.
But what position do you think they need to fix?
I think they got to get rid of Dak Prescott. That quarterback, that contract is really oppressive on the rest of the roster. So trade him away. I think beyond that, maybe a new tight end, but I think, and obviously a new running back, Ezekiel. That's not working out, but
well, they have Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle's been doing
Rico
good,
Dowdle's been popping off recently. We'll give him his flowers.
Yeah, I think mainly quarterback.
Tight end. I mean, Jake Ferguson. You can rely on him for big catches and big moments at least. The defense. I mean, offensively, of course, quarterback. Defensively, though, I feel like they have everything in place. It's just, can the defense start playing like they used to?
Yeah, maybe a new coordinator.
The Browns lost to the Chiefs.
So I think, this game wasn't horrible considering it was against the Chiefs defense, but I think responding by benching Jameis Winston wasn't the right decision. I think he's still playing pretty well for the backup. I think that since the season's pretty much over, you might as well just give Jameis Winston a chance. It's just going to make your losses uglier, switching to a new quarterback this late in the season. Yeah.
Yeah, they benched Winston Nick Chubb broke his foot.
too.
Not only is his season over, I'm thinking that his career is probably over
Probably.
at this point. It's really just like, was Winston benching right or wrong move, which you already answered. It's the wrong move.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's the wrong move. But, I mean, one bright spot for them is that, like, the Chiefs, or not the Chiefs, I mean, Jerry Jeudy and Winston,
Jerry Jeudy, yeah.
they have a great connection. And I don't think you want to break that up by bringing Dorian Thompson-Robinson into the mix at all.
Yeah,
For the Chiefs, Mahomes is hurt. The devil finally collected his soul.
finally.
But I don't think he's going to be hurt for too long. They're probably just going to bench him for the rest of the season for Carson Wentz.
At least for next week, yeah.
Yeah, which it probably won't hurt them at all because I think at this point they have the number 1 seed locked up.
Yep, and, you want him at 100% for the playoffs.
Yeah,
So.
Carson Wentz is a very good backup quarterback. And I think that it might be the beginning of the end for the season for him, but I don't think that they're going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Dolphins lose to the Texans.
Yeah, another ugly game for the Dolphins this time, mostly Tua's fault. Although there was some Tyreek in there, they fell out of playoff contention in this game. So, I think Tua is still fine. Give him some recovery time over the offseason, but definitely get rid of Tyreek Hill. Figure out who your new wide receiver one is going to be, whether it's Jalen Waddle or someone else.
Tua played horribly. I mean,
Yeah.
3 interceptions. It looked like he was just coming back from concussion protocol again.
Yeah.
And I mean, he needs to figure out how to like slide and do these things because even I watched a little part of that game where I saw him dive head first, and I don't necessarily endorse him doing that. To be fair, I think the season is now over, like you said.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Tyreek, or even for that matter, any of their wide receivers, even Jalen Waddle, should be kept.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should get rid of all the wide receivers and just try to bring in new targets. For the Texans, they survived another game. They're probably going to be a wild card exit, right?
Probably, but I'm pretty sure they clinched the NFC North. So
You mean
or AFC, yeah. So AFC South, right?
one of the divisions.
Yeah,
They're in that division. That's all we remember.
So they're going to the playoffs, but yeah, I don't think, like you said, I don't think they're making it far.
Yeah. For the Jets beat Jags barely.
Yeah, barely. Considering Trevor Lawrence is out, you can't blame the Jaguars for not playing their best. But even considering that, they're continuing. Like I said last week, they're continuing to play surprisingly well. Considering that, their defense is continuing to not look the best. But if they get Trevor Lawrence back next year, I think they'll be back to 100%.
When will Doug Peterson get fired? That's my only question. When will he get fired?
It's not his fault that Trevor Lawrence got.
It's not his fault Trevor Lawrence is injured, but it's also his fault that the Jaguars are in this hole in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, in the entire season until recently, he had Trevor Lawrence. What was he doing till then? Literally, you have Trevor Lawrence. You have a decent wide receiver group in Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, and who's there? They have a number 3 too. I forget.
Brian Thomas.
Yeah, Brian Thomas. And you have a pretty good tight end in Evan Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
You have a decent
running back.
And Travis Etienne, you have a good running back.
Yeah.
So why can you not make the playoffs? It seems absurd not to think that this team would not make the playoffs. For the Jets, Devontae realized that he's a top 10 wide receiver of all time and decided to play like it.
Finally.
We finally saw the vision like when he got traded. Oh, let's go. A-Rod plus Devontae equals Jets making playoffs. This is what they could have done if they were actually half decent. Mm. So, I mean, what position do they get in the first round of the draft? I think is their biggest question at this point because, they're not making the playoffs.
Take the rest of the season easy. Give Devontae a rest to prolong his career. Get rid of Aaron Rodgers in the offseason. Draft a quarterback. That's my plan.
For the Saints, they lost to the Commanders.
Yeah, so the Saints, they made it a close one for sure. I expected better of the Commanders, but there's still definitely a lot missing in that team that they need to figure out during the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, is it time for a full rebuild for them?
Probably, yeah.
Because at this point, you fired your head coach, Dennis Allen.
Yep.
Derek Carr, I don't think is the solution. Chris Olave is on IR too much, mostly because of hospital balls.
Yep.
Rashid Shaheed is on IR.
Yeah,
So,
he had a great start, so I think you keep him around.
Alvin Kamara, I mean, he's having a career year, but it's too little, too late now for him.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the Saints are going to do, but I think it's full rebuild time.
Yeah.
For the Commanders, the coaching errors made were nearly enough to cost them the game. They got bailed out at the end that they didn't lose, but it was pretty close.
Yeah.
Jane Daniels and Terry McLaurin, phenomenal connection. They're still, I think, one of the best QB wide receiver duos in the league.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really, will the O-line protect Daniels? I mean, he was getting constantly pressured. He had to rush like 11 times for like 66 yards. Some of that was on the O-line, but still. And he took 8 sacks. So really, it's just like he's in another Bengals-esque situation with Joe Burrow, where a few years back, the defense is mid, the O-line is not good, but you still have, in that scenario, with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. In this scenario, Terry McLaurin and Jane Daniels. Giants lose to the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that the Giants even made it as close as they did with, being on their third string quarterback like that. I was impressed with how well they stopped up Derrick Henry. I kind of expected it, but it was impressive nonetheless. So yeah, I mean, obviously they have to figure out some offensive stuff over the offseason, but I wouldn't say it was a horrible game.
Neighbors looks good.
Yeah.
I think that's fairly obvious.
Mm-hmm.
He had 10 receptions for, I think, like 82 yards. Phenomenal. But everything else is a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think that's enough said for them.
Yeah.
For the Ravens, Derrick Henry got bottled up. I was going to mention that. But they won when he got bottled up. So finally, Lamar played a great game.
Mm.
Is Lamar the league MVP?
No.
No.
When we get to the Bills, we'll cover that.
That's what I had a feeling that's what the answer is going to be.
Yep.
Titans, Bengals.
Yeah, the Titans out. When I saw the score at the end of the first half, I was pretty surprised. That continues to show how bad the Bengals defense is, that they let up that lead. But the Titans got to figure out how to finish games. This has happened too many times this season where they've taken an early lead and just let it go. So, I mean, I think you keep Will Levis around, but it's clear that the rest of their offense needs to shake up.
Oh, that's right. Will Levis got benched. No, that means no more memes. No, I love seeing the Ghetto Gronk memes, dude. No, that sucks. For the Bengals, Burrow didn't have the strongest game. 2 interceptions. He had a fumble. He still produced like 3 touchdowns, 250 plus yards, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
They still have a 5% chance of making the playoffs. Don't rule them out yet. But you can rule the defense out. There's no defense.
Yeah.
The defense is really just the draft now at this point, and then they need to re-sign Chase and Higgins. I think that's enough to say for the Bengals. Patriots lose to the Cardinals.
The Patriots, really all I gotta say here is they gotta figure out who they're gonna, they gotta figure out how they're gonna build their team around Drake May because, he's looking good, but other than that, there's not much clicking in their offense.
Yeah. The defense played decently, not great.
Yeah.
Drake May played decently, not great. The entire offense, apart from Drake May, played mid, and they had a bad game. For the Cardinals, they won off James Conner. He had, 70 yards and 2 touchdowns, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
It's just, will the team be more consistent? Because, you have the weeks where Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison decide to become Tom Brady and Randy Moss, and then you have the games when they have to heavily rely on the run team to just do their job. So it's just like consistency issues, but at the end of the day, a win's a win. So I don't think I'm going to hold it against them.
Yeah.
Colts losing to Broncos.
Yeah, so the Colts, they had a great first quarter. But that was about it. That looked good. The second quarter, just one field goal, and then after that, no points for the rest of the game. They took a great early lead, but after that, everything fell apart. Anthony Richardson had 2 interceptions. Yeah, another disastrous game.
Yeah, nothing's really helping them at this point. The season's a wash.
Yeah.
The defense is decent, but they're getting tired out because the offense can't produce anything.
Yeah.
It's too many 4-and-outs, too many interceptions, too many turnovers. They had a chance to get a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor fumbled it. It was just not a great game for the Colts. For the Broncos, Bo Nix, he had 130 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also had 3 interceptions. So I think against a better, more contentious team, he needs to be able to produce more consistently. But that's not going to be a knock on him. He's only a rookie, A, and B. Yeah. He has shown that against teams that are very good, he can play very good too. So I think that it's okay for this time, but if this was a more better team, the Broncos defense hadn't been able to handle it, then I would have been a little bit more weary. Lions lose to the Bills.
What we've all been waiting for. Man, the Lions, I'm so happy to say this, the Lions are no longer Super Bowl contenders. Not only did Jared Goff fail to come in clutch when they needed it, and not only did their defense let up way too many points, David Montgomery's out for pretty much the season, most likely the season, they said. So, that's going to be a major issue, a much bigger issue than people are giving it credit for, I think. Jahmyr Gibbs is obviously great, but it also helps that he only has to play half the snaps and that they give him a lot of, screen passes, outside runs, stuff like that. He's much more of like a speedy back, so I don't think he'll be able to do everything David Montgomery's been doing.
Yeah, look, Jared Goff, he has a good performance once in a blue moon, right? There'll be performances where he goes like the 18 of 18 game, which was perfect, and he throws for not that many yards on a couple of touchdowns. And then there's this game where he throws for 5 touchdowns. They lose because the defense sold. And all the while, he now figures out what it's like to be Joe Burrow. So, really, I'm not going to hold against Jared Goff not being clutch, okay? 5 touchdowns, fine. But I know I say that Jared Goff is not clutch. Like, he isn't clutch, don't get me wrong. But this is just like a decent game from him.
Yeah.
For the Bills, they're legit contenders. Is Josh Allen winning MVP?
I think at this point, it's most likely. It depends on how deep of a playoff run they make and how well Lamar Jackson does in the playoffs. But I think most likely at this point in the season, he makes MVP.
Okay. Chargers lose to the Bucks.
So the Chargers, I expected a lot better from them on defense. I mean, they forced 2 turnovers, which isn't bad, but at the same time, when you look at how many turnovers Baker Mayfield has had lately, it's not great on Baker Mayfield. They let up a lot of big catches to Mike Evans. So, Jim Harbaugh is supposed to be like really defensive focused, so I think he can fix it up, but they definitely need to fix it up before the playoffs.
Look, the offensive injuries showed, okay?
Yeah.
When Jim Harbaugh doesn't have like a crazy good running back or like J.K. Dobbins running back to help him out, it shows.
Yeah.
But I'll give enough credit to the Bucks defense. They played phenomenally. They finally did something that not a lot of teams will be able to do, that is pick off Justin Herbert. And they have 2 games left, the Pats and the Raiders. I think they're probably going to make the playoffs with those 2
Yeah,
games.
probably winning both of those.
Yeah. So for the Bucks, finally a game where Baker doesn't fumble the ball. I think it was one of the most dominant games the Bucks have had this season.
Yeah, probably.
And this is what I wanted to see from them for like the past few weeks, where Baker's been having a lot of turnovers. But I think this is the game that cements them as NFC South division winners.
Mm-hmm. Especially with how bad the Falcons have been looking.
Yeah. Steelers lose to the Eagles.
Yeah, so the Steelers, I was impressed by how well their run defense played. I mean, I expected it, but it's always impressive. However, I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders as long as their offense is not able to play better than that against past defenses like the Eagles have got. So, it's great that their defense held up the run, but they also let up some big plays for Jalen Hurts. So, I would not say they're Super Bowl contenders, or at least to the same degree as they were last week.
Yeah, the offense played bad. The defense, I'll give them credit. They played pretty good. It was a pretty solid game.
Yeah.
They just need to be consistent offensively, really, before being able to be back in the Super Bowl contenders tier. Mm-hmm. Because, for 2 weeks, their offense produced really good. And then this week they kind of just fell. So if they're consistent, I would be more than likely to be like, yeah, they're Super Bowl contenders. For the Eagles, they are contenders. Mm-hmm. It's just now, will they get the first seed in the playoffs?
Yeah. Which it's competitive between them, the Lions, and the Vikings, but I think they're probably the second most likely of those 3 to get it.
Yeah, because the first is obviously the Vikings.
Obviously.
The Seahawks lose to the Packers.
Yeah, the Seahawks. I kind of saw this coming. I saw they've been inconsistent all season, and I did not see them winning the NFC West at the end of the day. I knew they'd fall apart with that tough schedule for the last couple of weeks. So I think, losing to the Packers, that means they're probably losing to the Vikings too. So at that point, they're probably missing the playoffs. So
look, they are kind of in the same situation as the Steelers. All right, great defense, terrible offense.
Yeah.
And you want to see consistency from them too.
Mm-hmm.
And really, what I want to say is that they need to protect Geno. I mean,
7
he
sacks.
took 6-7 sacks.
2 interceptions from that too. So
And it's if they protect Geno, I feel like he'll be a really good quarterback. He only really threw for 140 yards, more than half of which was to Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yeah, he's the bright spot in their offense.
But they just need to protect Geno.
Mm-hmm.
For the Packers, they're now healthy and they're now playing incredibly good.
Yeah.
I think I would pick them for a Cinderella run.
I mean, it's possible. I could see him definitely making it pretty deep at this point, but I don't know. I don't see him as like an NFC division.
Yeah, they're probably not going to win the division, of course.
Yeah.
There's only like 2 games left.
Well, definitely not the NFC North.
Yeah, but I could see him being the ones to like pull off a Cinderella run.
Yeah, it's possible.
The Bears lost to the Vikings.
So I expected this. Obviously, the Bears, they've been struggling since they fired their head coach. And it's that's showing, but honestly, even more so, firing their offensive coordinator so many times has been showing. Caleb Williams is kind of struggling. I think it's not fair given how many coaching change-ups he's had. But not a great game.
The offense looks bad. The defense looks good. Most of that is attributed to what Levi just said.
Yeah.
The Vikings, Lions lost. They have a shot at winning not only the NFC North, but also winning the bye week.
Mm-hmm. We're now tied with the Eagles, too.
Yeah, so I could see them winning the NFC North and getting the bye week. I just think that their biggest... Actually, I don't know who they play, who's left to play. But I think their biggest competition for next week, I know, is the Seahawks.
Yeah.
After that, I'll have to check. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders lose to the Falcons.
The Raiders, I think benching Aiden O'Connell was the wrong decision. So I think they can do 3 things to improve the situation. Obviously not making the playoffs, but they can make the games prettier. They can restart Aiden O'Connell, they can target Brock Bowers, and they can target Jacoby Myers, and their offense will look a lot more pretty.
Look, I like Brock Bowers, which is why I'm going to say Brock Bowers is the best tight end in the league behind, not Travis Kelce, behind George Kittle. Give him the ball.
Yeah.
There is no reason why your tight end, who is your best pass catcher, he is better than Jacoby Myers, is getting 3 catches for around 40 yards. And he's only getting, 6 targets?
Yeah.
Some of that's on Bowers for not catching the football. I didn't really watch the game, so I don't really know if it was good catch, bad catch, or good throw, bad throw, what was it? But still, he should be getting targeted like 20 times a game at this point. But I guess it makes sense. It's Desmond Ridder. Yeah, he didn't really throw the ball to Kyle Pitts. Why is he going to throw it to Brock Bowers?
Yeah.
The Falcons. Bad game. Very bad game, actually. Bad game is understating it. Do they still have a chance of winning the NFC South?
It's still a toss-up, but given how badly... It's not just this game. It's been the past, 5 games. So, and given the Buccaneers are looking pretty hot, I think they most likely miss the playoffs.
If the Bucs stay consistent, the Falcons aren't going to make it.
Yeah.
And the Falcons aren't consistent either, so it doesn't matter either way, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's the recap. Now for our picks. So Thursday night, we got Broncos-Chargers. I think that's going to be a phenomenal game.
I think I got the Broncos for this one. The defense has had some struggles. I think J.K. Dobbins is still going to be out, so I think most likely the Broncos can win this one.
I think J.K. Dobbins is out for the season, actually.
Oh,
if I'm not
shoot.
wrong.
So, then probably Broncos.
Yeah, I'll pick the Broncos, too. I want the Chargers to win it. I really want to see Justin Herbert back in the playoffs with a half-decent coach and with a half-decent team. But I feel like the Broncos have this one in the bag. Texans-Chiefs, Saturday, 1 p.m.
So, I think, honestly, I'm going to put the Texans for this one because, they're most likely going to sit Patrick Mahomes. They're gonna be resting their stars for the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna be trying that hard the last couple of games here. So I think the Texans can probably win it.
Here's why I'm not picking the Texans. The Chiefs are gonna win this one, all right? A, and B, the Texans aren't gonna win because they're gonna play incredibly inconsistently. It's gonna be like one drive they look like the best team, and the second drive they look like the worst team you've ever seen. And I think that's just not a recipe to beat the Chiefs. You have to be consistently good, like the Bills are. The Steelers, Ravens, 4:30.
Steelers, baby, all the way. That's gonna be an easy game.
So I could totally see the Steelers winning. I know T.J. Watt got injured, and
it depends on if he's back, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the only concern I have is A, will he be back, and B, if he's back, will they be able to contain Derrick Henry?
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, they got Giants, Falcons.
I think it's kind of a toss-up because of how the Giants' defense played last week, but most likely the Falcons.
Yeah, it's probably the Falcons.
Pretty self-explanatory.
I cannot wait to see the plane above. Well, okay, this time it's at the Falcons. If it was at MetLife again, I was gonna say I can't wait to see the Mr. Morrow. Please get us out of this dumpster fire one.
Oh yeah.
But it's fine. Cardinals, Panthers.
Panthers.
Yeah, same. Actually, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I would like for the Panthers to win this game. The only reason why I think the Cardinals are gonna win is because they want to try to get a push at the division before they get the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Lions, Bears.
I got the Lions. I really want the Bears to win this game so the Vikings can win the NFC North, but that's just not going to happen. So
maybe karma.
Maybe.
Matt Eberflus got fired. The Bears are going to get in the same situation.
They're going to take the time out this time.
And they're going to win this time. That's why I'm picking the Bears.
It's possible, I guess.
Titans, Colts.
Titans. I don't care that they benched Will Levis. This should be easy. Colts look terrible.
They look terrible, but the Titans without Will Levis are going to be equally as terrible. Because in the first half, they had Will Levis. Second half, they didn't. You see the differences between the team there. I'm going to pick the Colts. Rams, Jets.
Probably Rams, but if Devontae Adams plays like he did last week, anything is possible, especially with how bad the Rams played last week.
Well, yes, but we did pressure their quarterback a lot. And Aaron Rodgers right now is not in the
that's definitely
condition
true.
to run.
That's definitely true.
So I'm going to take the Rams. You already know I'm a Rams fan. But also, I think the Jets' secondary isn't going to be able to handle Puka and Cooper Kupp. Also, Cooper Kupp dropped a goose egg, so I think he's going to have a bounce-back game here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good game. Eagles, Commanders.
Yeah, this will be an exciting one. I think.
Why is this at 1 o'clock, dude? Put this at
I know, that should be prime time, yeah. I think most likely Eagles win this one, but the Commanders are always good at pulling off an upset. If they win this one, it'd be really cool to see what could happen to the NFC standings, but most likely Eagles.
I think the Eagles win this one. The Commanders' defense isn't crazy good, which is why I think the Eagles will win this one. Browns, Bengals. I'm
gonna put the Browns for this one. I don't care that they benched Jameis Winston. Their defense has looked pretty dang good, and even with Jameis Winston benched, their offense has still been looking real strong. I think they can take the Bengals defense pretty easily.
You have more faith in Dorian Thompson-Robinson than I do. Give me the Bengals. The Browns defense, while it might be good, the Bengals defense has carved up plenty of good defenses. And the Browns offense isn't going to be able to get past the 50-yard line.
Jerry Jeudy is going to carry him, man.
He's going to carry him, but if Dorian Thompson-Robinson can throw an accurate ball, that's the only way he's going to be able to carry them.
Yeah.
4 o'clock games. Vikings, Seahawks.
Easy win for the Vikings.
Agreed.
Nothing else needs to be said. I think Kenneth Walker is still out. Our run defense can take whoever their backup is easily. We're going to pressure Geno like crazy. It's going to be an easy game.
Yeah, Zach Charbonnet is their backup for your information.
Oh, yeah.
Kenneth Walker, I feel like he's going to be back for this game. He was listed as questionable and then doubtful. Mm-hmm. So I think this is the game where he comes back. But
if he does,
it's not the great game to come back.
DK Metcalf is terrible. We can strap up Jackson Smith and Jigba fine.
Patriots, Bills.
Easy win for the Bills.
Yeah.
I don't care how mid their defense is. Drake May does not have enough weapons.
They literally need to switch this game with the Eagles-Commanders game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the Bills. Jags, Raiders. Why is this at full?
Yeah, why is the Eagles-Commanders at 1 o'clock?
And why is the Jags-Raiders, a game that's going to be 0-3 at 4:25? This is
ridiculous. I think the Jaguars can win this one. The Raiders benched Aiden O'Connell. The Jaguars defense may be mid, but their offense has been really scrappy this year. I think they can win.
If the Jags lose this game and Doug Peterson doesn't get fired, I am going to do something that I probably shouldn't. The 49ers Dolphins.
I think the 49ers win this one. Their defense kind of bounced back last week, like I said. And obviously Tua looks terrible. I think they can win that one.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Fred Warner, he's been
Back
playing really well.
Better than ever.
Yeah, even though he's fractured his ankle and has been playing off that for a few weeks. Yeah. The Dolphins, Tyreek, not playing good. Tua, not playing good. Devon Acham, only bright spot in their offense.
I mean, maybe Johnny Smith, but...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Johnny Smith. He's had too many touchdowns not to be bright spot. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think the 49ers win this one, too. This primetime game is so bad.
Why is this a primetime game?
Bucks, Cowboys.
Easy win for the Bucks. Enough said.
Yeah, it's terrible. And the Monday night game's not even better either. It's Saints, Packers.
Yeah, I mean, Saints can... they did it against the Commanders. They can make a game close, but Packers win this one.
Yeah, Packers just strapped the Seahawks offense, which is leagues better than the Saints offense. I think Packers win this one.
Yeah, there's that.
So there's no other Monday night game. So that's it for the picks, and that's atrocious schedule making for sure.
Yeah.
Collins.
Yeah, any Collins?
No Collins so far, I think. I'm logging in to go put number in chat. Give me about 2 minutes here. In the meantime,
we can do power rankings first.
Yeah, you can say yours.
Okay. Number 1 this week. I hate to drop the Vikings, but I got Bills at number 1. I don't care that they've had some ugly losses this year. These past couple of weeks, they've been looking real strong. I think, it's obvious that Josh Allen is a top MVP contender. And, I mean, if they can make it past either the Chiefs or the Steelers, I'd say they're Super Bowl contenders. The Vikings at number 2. We've continued to look like a top NFC team. I think we can get the 1 seed before the year's over. And probably make a deep playoff run, if not a Super Bowl run. I got the Eagles at 3. I think that's where they belong for probably the rest of the season, unless somehow they overtake the Vikings. I got the Lions at 4 because obvious reasons. David Montgomery out. Jared Goff, he played decent, but their defense continues to sell him. Yeah, Lions at 4. I know you want the Rams above them, and if the Lions lose this week, I'll drop them out of my top 5 for you. But I got the Steelers at 5. I want them above the Lions, but their offense looked too weak this past week, and T.J. Watt may or may not be back.
For the defense alone, I would drop the Lions out of the top 5. The defense is playing
yeah, that's
differently,
true.
But fine. We'll leave that. We'll just leave that alone. Power rankings. My biggest riser for the week is going to be the Bucks. My biggest faller, unfortunately, is the Steelers. So, if you hate life right now, you are a Brown, Titan, Cowboy, Jaguar, Panther, Raider, Patriot, or a Giant. That's right, the Jets aren't in there. You'll find out why soon. In between hating life and future looking bright, you're a Saint. The Bengals because of the defense, the Falcons because they have a Kirko Chains issue, and the Jets because Aaron Rodgers is old. If your future looks bright, you're a Colt, a Bear, or a Dolphin. And Dolphins providing Tua actually plays half decently. If you're in the playoff hunt, you're the entire NFC West division. That is the Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, and 49ers. 49ers, you could probably drop out of the playoff hunt if you wanted to, but we'll keep them in there because technically they're only, 2 games off of first place, which is wild. But yeah. If you're a playoff wild card team, you're the Commanders and you're the Chargers. Commanders, defense, Chargers, offense. In between the wild card and Super Bowl contenders is the Packers. I think they are the team most likely to make a Cinderella run. The Ravens, if Derrick Henry is bottled up, right? And Lamar doesn't play like he played against a terrible Giants, secondary.
Yeah.
Then really they're not going to win. And I think that's the biggest impediment for them right now. The Vikings totally can be Super Bowl contenders soon. It's just, I want to see something just a little bit better.
Yeah.
And we seem to have a call-in.
We do. Hello.
Is this the podcast?
This is the podcast.
All right. So, if the Bills end up getting the 1 seed in the AFC, do we think the Chiefs are making it out of the wild card?
I mean, the playoff Chiefs are always a different team, and if Hollywood Brown comes back at full strength, which probably not, but...
Yeah, but with Mahomes under injury protocol and everything,
yeah,
there is that possibility that he will not be playing his best football with the Chiefs not playing their best football, obviously.
there is the possibility, but also, you see the refs bailing them out like they did against the Raiders, and I just can't see them losing like that.
Not even if they get the Ravens, because the Ravens have a very difficult chance at winning the division.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's possible, but
Did he just end the call?
what the heck?
Okay, so whoever that was.
I guess that's his calling.
Yeah, I guess that's his call, and he just didn't want to hear my take on it. I'll give you my take anyways. So he was asking about the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes getting injured, etc., right?
Yeah.
So my answer to that is no. They will, yes, they will get past the wild card.
Probably.
Here's why. Last year, when Mahomes was injured, right?
Mm-hmm.
They played the Bengals. Or hold on, was that 2 years ago? I think it was last year. Right?
I think
he
it was
hurt
last
his ankle, and then
no, that was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 years ago then what did he do last year?
Last year they just they didn't even get that high. I think they were a wild card going into the playoffs.
No, they hit the.
But I don't think he was injured or anything.
Oh, hold on, we need to search this up now. I don't remember. I thought it was last year. Mahomes injuries.
Because he got MVP when he had the ankle. Remember?
I swear he was injured last year and he played.
I mean, the ankle injury was definitely 2 years ago, but he might have been injured last year.
Yeah, February 12th, 2023. That was 2 years ago. Yeah, okay, so you were right.
Yeah.
2 years ago when he was MVP. Okay, so then that season you can't really count, but he played phenomenally despite that.
Mm-hmm.
And he made the playoffs. Not made the playoffs, but he made that team just get past the Bengals. He willed them past it. This year, I can see the same thing happening because the playoff Chiefs are, like you were saying, so good. But also, I think that Mahomes, with an injury, always for some reason provokes him to play better than he usually would.
Mm-hmm.
He makes smarter decisions with an injury.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they're probably going to get past the wild card. Will make the Super Bowl? That's a different question. But definitely past wild card round.
Mm-hmm.
Back to what I was saying with the power rankings. So we got past the Packers, the Ravens, the Vikings for in between wild card and Super Bowl. The Broncos are there.
I would put the Broncos in playoff wild card, but yeah.
So here's why I have them here. It's because every time the defense just seems to play really phenomenal football. And that's really why they're there. It's just because the defense is playing so well that the offense really just has to score like 20 plus and they'll be fine. It's pretty easy for them. The Bucks hang 40 on the Chargers. Come on.
Yeah.
Steelers, they fell from Super Bowl contenders, but if the offense picks it back up, like I was saying earlier, they can come back up.
It's always possible.
Lions, just the defensive issues. If the defense starts playing like they used when they did early season, I think that they will be back in the Super Bowl contenders list. Also, if Jared Goff can prove to me that he's actually clutch for once in his life, then maybe they get back up there too.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it's going to happen, but still, I have to put that up there. Super Bowl contenders, Eagles, Bills, because Josh Allen looks like a legit MVP candidate, and Chiefs, because dark magic always equals somehow making the Super Bowl, and somehow making the Super Bowl for them equals winning, because that's just how that works, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the Bills, I mean, if their defense can, step it up from mid to, actually pretty good, definitely Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, they keep getting 40 hanged on them, but they keep winning barely by, 5 points.
Yeah,
so
their offense comes in clutch when they need it.
Yeah. So we're waiting in for more call-ins, which, if you're watching, call in. Who do you have for your fantasy playoffs, duds and savers? Because I'm going to put this story out there. So Levi texts our fantasy football group chat, all right? He says, I'm about to cook Oshrey first round. How smooth by Levi? Was it 20? No. Was it 30?
It might have been 30.
No. Was it 40? Definitely not. It was 50. You lost
50?
me by 50. 117 to 160 something.
I mean, it was my fault for putting in Sam Darnold instead of Jalen Hurts. I saw he was playing the Steelers defense. Didn't expect much from him.
Yeah. You're
Bad management on my part.
I started Mahomes over Baker.
Yeah.
Which
Good
lost me
move.
about like 10 to 20 points.
Yeah.
But you also didn't start Jalen Hurts, which lost you about 10 to 20 points too.
Yeah.
So really, Levi, sometimes you back up the trash talk, right? Come on.
Yeah, and maybe don't blindly trust in Saquon Barkley.
You text that a week in advance. That's how confident you were that you were gonna beat me, dude. That's crazy. Anyway, for the duds, Cooper Kupp dropped a goose egg. If you are a manager who had Cooper Kupp, you're happy, right? No, I'm kidding. You're sad. Savers, definitely Baker. He had a bad stretch, so a lot of fantasy managers I know were worried about him, but I think him coming back at a crucial time really helped. Jerry Jeudy, if you stream Jerry Jeudy, which I don't think a lot of people have been, but he's been bobbing off.
James Cook. I've talked to a lot of people that didn't start him, including myself, but if you started him, congrats.
Yeah. A.J. Brown, actually. I didn't start A.J. Brown. I didn't think he was going to do well against the Steelers secondary, and also he had been having bad games. But he popped off, so if you started him, congrats. And then the biggest saver of the week, Devontae Adams. He had a monster game.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like, I don't think anybody saw that game coming from him. And a lot of people, I don't think, started him either because of just
He had such a terrible season, yeah.
So, really, I mean, Devontae had the biggest surprise. The duds, you were saying Saquon. I wholeheartedly agree. Saquon
Derrick Henry.
sucked. Derrick Henry sucked. You had both of them, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, Saquon and Derrick Henry both sucked. A lot. Brock Bowers, if you had him, he didn't produce a lot, but again, the quarterbacks didn't really try to feed him a lot either.
Tua.
Oh, right.
I talked to a lot of people that got screwed by Tua.
Probably true. If you started Mahomes, I mean, he didn't have the greatest game, but he also didn't have the worst game. So,
Yeah.
I mean, somewhere in the middle, I guess. But yeah, I don't think that. I think the biggest bust was Cooper Kupp. After that, Saquon, and after that, Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp, man. Big fat 0.
Yeah, 0.00.
With a ton of targets, too.
Okay, Matt Stafford, to be fair, it wasn't the greatest passes, A.
Yeah, it was
and
raining
B,
out.
it was raining.
Yeah.
And while everybody's like, oh, Jared Goff, five touchdowns. He was playing in an indoor stadium. Calm down, dude. Indoor stadiums are the easiest to throw balls in, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta calm down about that. So, next, who do you have as like the greatest players of all time at the following position? All right? Quarterback. You can either give like a top 5 or a top 3. And for y'all watching, if y'all want to give a top 3, top 5 in the comments, we might react to it. You don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put Tom Brady at 1. Forgot his name on the Steelers a couple years ago.
Ben Roethlisberger?
Yeah, no. Not on the Steelers. Sorry, Saints.
Oh, Drew Brees.
Yeah, Drew Brees 2. And probably it's kind of a toss-up between Patrick Mahomes and for third. Yeah, because of the start to his career. You know, he already has more Super Bowls at his age than Tom Brady did. So if he keeps it up, probably, and or shoot.
No Joe Montana.
Yeah,
That's
Joe Montana.
crazy.
That was my third. Yeah, Joe Montana third, maybe tied with Patrick Mahomes. I don't know.
That's crazy. Well,
I think some people are saying Patrick Mahomes at 2. I don't think that's
Mahomes is not
outlandish.
even in the top 5 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Calm down.
I mean, he's had a great start to his career. You know,
Starts do not equal finishes.
Yeah, but he hasn't finished his career yet, so you can't talk about the finish of his career.
Okay, last 2 years, what have Mahomes' stats been?
Yeah, well, also look at the players he's been
Terrible.
playing with. You know, Travis Kelce plays good in the playoffs, but regular season, he's washed. Rashee Rice is in and out last year, nothing this year. Xavier Worthy has been, every deep target he gets, he drops it. So, like, who's he playing with?
Okay, the same argument could be made for Drew Brees. Who was he?
Yeah, that's why I
with?
put Drew Brees above him.
Who was he playing with?
That's why I put Drew Brees above him.
He still consistently was the most accurate and statistically speaking, the best quarterback in the NFL history.
Which is why I put him above Patrick Mahomes.
Right, Mahomes. That's what I'm trying to get to. Is Mahomes shouldn't even be in the conversation.
So who do you put at 3? Unless it's Joe, which I said Joe Montana tied with Patrick Mahomes.
Okay,
So-
well my top 3 is Joe Montana, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady.
Okay.
My top 5, on the other hand, some people are going to think this is a little outlandish that I'm putting this person here. 5, I have Michael Vick. I love watching Michael Vick play. I don't know why. I just love watching him play.
Okay.
4, I mean, you could put Steve Young there technically. I mean, if you wanted to, he was a great quarterback.
Yeah.
You could. I mean, really, who else would you put there apart from Steve Young?
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, I forgot Peyton Manning. Sorry, Manning. No.
I don't know.
Manning could be
I feel like Peyton Manning's a little bit overrated if you're talking all-time conversation.
I mean, he might seem a little overrated, but Buddy was accurate. I mean, Buddy played pretty well. Who do you have as your top 3 or top 5 running backs?
Running backs, I mean, at number 1, I'd probably go with why am I blanking on his name? Barry Sanders. Number 2, probably maybe I put Marshawn Lynch in my top 3 probably, but I don't know whether he's 2 or 3. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the running backs.
All right. Well, for me, number 3, beast mode. Come on, now.
Yeah.
Beast mode. Number 2, Eric Dickerson, Rams legend,
Yeah.
still holds the most rushing yards in NFL history, or in a single season in NFL history. Number 1, come on now, we all know who it is.
Who?
You said it.
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
I mean, yeah, I don't know who else is putting anyone above that. Like,
Wide receivers, top 3, top 5 all time. Who do you have?
I hate all the controversy that comes with this statement, but I put Randy Moss above Jerry Rice. I hate that people are constantly saying Jerry Rice is better. I mean, obviously I've got a little bit of bias given that I'm a Vikings fan, but he had a much better start to his career, and he was also, the Vikings weren't the strongest team when he was with us, and he still put up insane numbers. So yeah, I got Randy Moss at 1, Jerry Rice at 2. I want to see Justin Jefferson go at 3. It depends on, this year wasn't.
Now, it's way too early.
Not right now, no. I'm just saying, like, future. This year wasn't the strongest, but if he can keep going the way he's been going the past 4 years, he has potential to be top 3.
Okay, so for me, 5, I think I have Marvin Harrison, not Junior. Marvin
Senior.
Harrison, the OG Marvin
Yeah.
Harrison. 4, I mean, you can put a lot of people at 4, really, if you
Yeah.
wanted to. I'll come back to the 4 slot. For best wide receiver, Randy Moss. Number 2, I'm not even putting Jerry Rice number 2. I'm putting Jerry Rice number 3. I'm putting Calvin Johnson at number 2.
Oh, dang. Okay. Honestly, I agree with that. I don't like Jerry Rice hype.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Jerry Rice was great. But Calvin Johnson, I think, was better.
Yeah.
Randy Moss, even better than that. Number 4, I mean, there's a lot of different people you could put up there.
Mike Evans might even be top 5 at this
I
point.
mean, you might want to put Mike Evans up there, but if you're going to put Mike Evans, I would put Marvin Harrison above Mike Evans and put Mike Evans at 5.
Yeah,
So I think that's a pretty solid list. Tight end, do you have top 5, top 3?
I mean, no one's arguing with Gronk at 1.
If you say Travis Kelce, you're recency bias.
Okay, he's probably at 3.
He is the top 3, don't get me wrong. He's not number 1, though, is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure beyond that.
Yeah, so, I mean, top 3, Travis Kelce 3, Antonio Gates 2, 1 Rob Gronkowski. You could make an argument that Travis Kelce's like top 5 and not top 3. I could see it, but he's so good that it's like,
Yeah.
I'd be wary of that. But yeah, that's all the time we have for today. So thank you for tuning in. It was unfortunate we only got one call in, but next week, call in. We'll pick up. We'll pick up. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see.